All right. Let's see if I can do this one video in one shot without being interrupted by literally anything extrinsic that is happening on this side. Oh man, that's a fucking project. All right. Guys, thank you very much for coming and visiting us over here at the Customizerdepot Studios for another episode of Experimenting with Kenny. And today, I have another package from solorcolordust.com. Huge shout out to them. They sent us like a massive care package with like 30 packages of pigments, and they wanted us to review them, or I wanted to review them, so they sent it to us. And basically, this is a triple thermal dust. And what this is it gives you 3 different colors. You guessed it. 1, 2, 3, right? Triple thermal dust. Triple. Keyword triple. All right. Goes on black. Then red. Then, you guessed it, after reading, pink. Okay. So let's just read it. Changes 3 different colors. Boom. Just told you that. It activates at 82 degrees Fahrenheit and 95 degrees Fahrenheit. So it starts off black, it's going to end pink, and then in intermediary between that, it's going to be red. All right. So just the disclaimers: use proper protection when handling. Wash exposed areas with soap and water. Adult supervision recommended. Do not consume. Don't tell me what to do over here. Thermal color dust. But all right, let's read some more. This is some instructions for the use of their pigments. The thermal dust, which changes color in temperature. You mix 1 gram of the thermal dust, or the pigment, to 1 fluid ounce of clear base, which is going to be our Angelus neutral leather paint, right? Then you apply it over a white surface. I have 3 white surfaces that we're going to check over here, so I will go into that a little bit more in depth. So now, just a reminder that the pigment changes color by activation temperature. So the constant exposure to the sun, this is their disclaimer, constant exposure to the sun can eventually burn the pigment, damaging the color change effect. So now, if you use this type of stuff and you're constantly in the sun, you're on the West Coast or somewhere else that's always sunny, or Alaska where it doesn't stop being sunny at some points in time, or Antarctica. Oh God, sometimes I can't even get it with my own analogies. So now, if you do that, then I would assume that you can get everything done, right? Just take it out of the sun. Don't put it in the sunlight. Just kidding. Who am I kidding? Obviously, you're gonna put it in the sunlight. So let's get this thing open. Let's explain some more while I'm doing it. So today, aside from, ow, that really hurt. My cockiness level is at ultra maximum high, and I'm definitely gonna have to cut this video at some point because it sucks. So this goes on black, right? But it's not so black, right? But what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take my mini shovel and I'm gonna open up my acrylic base. This is a 1 ounce jar, and I'm gonna take out what I assume would be a nice amount, a nice hearty amount. Right, I'm gonna do this. Oh my God, I almost said this was the first time I didn't drop any, and look at that, I dropped some. Oh, you suck. You're the worst. Here, take your penance, you jerk. All right, so what I'm gonna be doing today is, aside from that, let me put my rag down before I explain a little bit more. I'm gonna close this and put it back in the package before I forget. If you made it this far and you think that this is a silly video so far and not as informative as the other ones, please hit the like button. And if you don't like it. And if you did, I would appreciate it, hitting the like button. But you can also subscribe to see other videos that are pretty informational as opposed to this one so far. This one has not been informational at all, so I apologize for that. It's just that I'm trying something new and it's not working out for me. And all right, what I'm gonna be doing is I'm gonna be taking this same process as the last ones. I'm gonna go about halfway into the 1 ounce jar, a little bit more than half, right? I've learned that a little bit more than half is better than nothing. Gotta clean that guy. This is no bueno. No bueno, my friend. Alright. So, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be mixing the pigment up in here. And just try to get it to not look so clumpy. If you can see all of that. Look at that. It looks like an Oreo sundae. Can I get some autofocus over here? There you go. Look at that. Looks like an Oreo sundae, in all honesty. But alright, maybe things will change. So again, if you guys made it this far, notification bell, subscribe, hit the like button, and I will be informing you on all of this stuff in this series of experimenting with Kenny with the triple thermal dusts. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be basically putting this particular mixture of pigment, the black, red, and pink. I'm going to put it on three different mediums. One being a metallic plastic, right? Because it is a metal sheet with like a plastic cover. This is good for sublimations. This is the outline for the phone cases that we use. So it is metal, but there are some curing methods that you would want to do beforehand, before you got started on them, because that's something that you want to do to paint on metal and other type of plastic surfaces, because they are non-porous materials. So you just have to be mindful of that. I also have a piece of leather that I'm going to be painting on, a piece of white leather, and then I'm going to be painting on top of this piece right here. So this is like a cloth, and you just want to make sure that that cloth is the cloth. And not only that, but it is just essentially the same material as you would find on a pair of Vans or a pair of Converses or a t-shirt, like a cotton blend type of material. And it's going to be that material. So I'm going to explain what you're going to need to do to properly paint on this type of cloth and or a pair of Vans, as well as that piece of leather. So if you're going to be painting on the leather, like this one, I have already... Where are you, leather? Right there. Right here. Okay? So I'm going to use all the pieces of leather that I can that are white, because I have a lot of it. I just don't want to use a lot of it. Because again, this is experimenting with Kenny, and you don't need a lot of leather to experiment on. So this is what the mixture looks like. I'm gonna put it in. I'm gonna put the cap on, and then I'm gonna give it a nice, quick little shake, because that also helps. So I just finished cleaning my airbrush, which is the Grex XGI, courtesy of Angelus. And definitely go check them out over at Angelus. They have, I have a, a link in the description box below, so definitely go check them out. Like I always tell you guys, this machine is an absolute workhorse. No offense to horses out there that are watching this video. Please do not get offended at anything that I say. I'm so scared nowadays to say anything. Okay. So now I'm gonna be, like I said, if you were gonna paint on a surface like this metallic one, I would suggest like a bonding agent or like a primer, and then, you know, like a white primer, and then getting onto this, right? And I knew that I was gonna get ruined with a phone call, because how often do I not get something like this? And now I'm gonna have to pause the video when I try to do it in one shot. So hold please. As per usual, thwarted by Thomas. Who else could it have been but Thomas? But alright, back to not offending horses. And again, I'm very sorry if I offended you, a horse owner or a horse. So here you go. Alright, so again, bonding agent over here. This one, you're going to want to use Angelus Leather Prepare and Deglazer to get like the factory finish off of this paint. You're also, you're in the mood to, but I would suggest the GAC 900 for this, because if you put this like the Angelus paints come a little bit thick, if you put that clean and flush onto like the cloth material of the Vans, a sock liner, or anything like that, it's going to get hard, and it's going to be hard to wear. It's going to hurt when you wear it. So, you know, that's why it's called experimenting with Kenny, right? But I will show you guys. So this is supposed to go on black, but it seems to me like it's a darker shade of like magenta or burgundy, if you will. All right, now that I'm done with that one, so this is my first attempt at painting with my left hand. All right, so now let's heat it up. Let's see what starts to happen. Is it just me, or is that purple? That looks purple to me. Maybe if I put a couple of more coats on, it'll turn pink. Or maybe, I don't want to make the assumption, but we'll see what happens here. So yeah, this one's flying through the Grex airbrush a lot easier than the other ones. I feel like I've found the right mixture of paint to pigment. So this is interesting. So it says it goes from black to red to pink, right? But I can see it go to purple, right? So that's red, and if I'm not colorblind, that's purple. Okay, I'm thoroughly confused. I did open up this package, which is the black, the red, and the pink. But all right, I guess this is pink. But whatever, let's keep going. Let's give it another 2 more coats. Alright, I can see how that can go on black. So at the end of this series of experimenting with Kenny, with the triple thermal dust, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be basically putting all of these colors onto one shoot, right? And then I'm going to showcase how you put it on the leather, how you put it on the leather for an Air Force One, and then I'm going to color every single panel of that shoe and show you guys what it looks like. So I should have done that so that way you guys can see that red, right? So that as you're heating it up, she's going on a magic carpet ride, this one, because obviously it's a whole new world. Sorry, I have a lot of Aladdin puns. Oh, that was even a pun in itself. Alright. So there you go. I can see that being like a dark purple, like brown, blackish color. I can see that. I could also see the red, you know? I can also see the red. I can see it looking like a Merlot. Through the camera lens, at least, that it can be like a Merlot-ish-esque color. I've been getting into this whole like left-handed thing because I've been playing 2K19 and 2K20, and only when the free throws I would use my left hand because I keep hitting the green with my left hand instead of my right. Don't ask me how I figured that out, but I tried it, and now I'm trying to learn how to do stuff with my. See, so this is the gradients right here. You see the darker, the pigment, and then that purple. But I can see the pink. I can see the pink. I can see the pink here, you know? So let's just heat it up nice and slow. So that way you can see it from far away. Look at that. That's cool. I can see it coming out a little bit pink, but it's still a little bit purple to me. But again, I could be getting colorblind at my old age. That's cool. So yeah, showing you guys like that is much easier than literally putting the thing over here. All right, you see, you live and you learn. Experimenting with Kenny. Bam. All right, let's do two. Let's do 2 more coats. All right, 2 more coats. You guys don't forget, this is the Grex XGI. This is a power horse. Also, you know what I've noticed? My needle is bent. Gotta get a new needle. And that's why it's probably spitting out the way that it's spitting out. Because now that the paint is a little bit less viscous, or a little bit more viscous, the mixture is a little bit more than I would normally do on a normal basis, because I'm experimenting. Ah, look at that. So I can see it. I can see that red. I can see that pink. I can see that it's a very, very light pink, and it's looking to me, especially in the camera, like it's purple. I mean, in the sunlight it may change, I feel like, but this is it. This is it, folks. This is what this color looks like. So right now I'm just gonna type in, or not type in, I'm gonna write on it. I'm gonna write that this is the triple thermal dust. Right? This is black, so red, pink. Right? Pink. Bam! Pink. Okay. So this is it. Alright, so again, if you're gonna be doing this, I would suggest using a adhesive promoter to get that porous material, to get this on top. Again, you're gonna need a finisher on this no matter what. They recommend a clear finisher. I know that Angelus has great finishers. They have a matte finisher, a gloss finisher, as well as the satin finish. Now, the only reason why I say that you're gonna need a finisher on this type of material, on this like plastic, plastic, metal, or anything that isn't porous, like these two things, look at what's gonna happen. You see that? That happens every time because there's nothing protecting it on top. And it's also not sitting on anything underneath. Right now it's on something sheer. You know, like this is like that plastic material. I can put it on this and it'll do the exact same thing because it's a non-porous material. It has nothing to bond to. It has nothing to stick to, which is exactly why stuff like this is going to happen. So I would be mindful of this. Now, for the leather, if you're going to be putting this on leather like a sneaker or anything like that, I would suggest using a GAC 900 or a Angelus 2 Thin. I think I have this right here, Angelus 2 Thin. I would suggest these two things, one or the other, depending on the project that you're using, only because you want this to be pliable, right? So if you put on a lot of coats of the paint, right? If you put on too much neutral versus pigment, what you're gonna get is you're gonna get a watery pigment, and then you're gonna have to keep putting on layer after layer after layer, and then it's gonna be kind of hard because you're gonna be caking on the paint. So then what's gonna happen is that if you put the paint on a toe box, that is gonna crease. You know, like if you do that stuff to it, you're bending it, you're constantly like messing with it, it's gonna damage the paint, right? So that's why it's also good to put an adhesive promoter on top of the leather as well to do that. On this, you can use an adhesive promoter, but chances are it's gonna get a little bit hard. But I would suggest, again, using the GAC 900 because it's good for fabrics and it's good for the paint, for it to be pliable, for it to be this. Like, if you were able to touch what I'm touching right here, this is super nice. This feels like nothing's on it. But this one, you feel like there are things that are inside and it's starting to seep through, and then they harden, right? This material that's inside starts to harden, which is why it becomes a little bit less pliable. And if you keep putting more and more paint in, and if you just put the paint in without mixing anything onto it, it's gonna make the sock liner hard, it's gonna make the shoes hard, it's gonna make everything hard, so then it's gonna be difficult to wear. So that's something that you have to just keep in mind when you're working on projects like these. The type of material that you're using, the type of mediums that you're putting onto, like, so all of that you just have to keep in mind. So again, guys, if you guys have any questions based off of the project that you saw here, experimenting with Kenny, if you have any questions, if you want to check out Solar Color Dust, definitely go check out solarcolordust.com. This was the black, red, pink triple thermal dust. If you have if you like this video, if you found the end of it to be informative, because that's when I usually get informative and or I get serious with the videos. If you found this to be informative, please hit the like button, subscribe to this channel to see more videos like this, especially in the Experimenting with Kenny segment. Hit the notification bell so that you can be notified of any future projects that we do have. Again, I'm going to be playing Dungeons & Dragons, so stay on the lookout for that, where I am completely and absolutely ridiculous when it comes to playing Dungeons & Dragons. So guys, thank you so much for coming and hanging out. We totally appreciate it. Keep crafting, guys.